We're going to look at a higher piece called West Coast now, which is just a finger picking piece that a lot of you've been doing. So I'll just go through each line because each line has like one pattern that repeats. So the first thing we're going to do actually is look at the right hand. So in guitar, in the right hand, P is the thumb, I is the index, M is the middle, and A is the ring finger. In the left hand it goes 1, 2, 3, 4. The thumb is nothing, you just don't think of the thumb. And in the right hand, the thumb's going to look after the bass strings, which are the 6th, 5th and 4th string. Index is always playing the 3rd string, the middle finger's always playing the 2nd string, and the ring finger's always playing the 1st string. So when I say those fingers, just take it for granted they're doing those strings. And if you've got the music in front of you, that'll help as well. If you don't, you can still learn from this video without any music. So, the right hand pattern for the whole of the first page, and the top of the second page actually. First section is the thumb plays a bass note. Sometimes it can be here or here, but we'll take it on the 6th string, so play that. Then it's A on the 1st string, M, 2nd string, I, 3rd string, A, M, I again. Okay, so it's P, A, M, I, A, M, I, A. Okay. And you'll notice on the music that last note's got a tie on it, which is like a wee loop joining it to another 0. Ignore the second 0, it's just telling you it's to ring on. Okay, so you don't play it twice. So if you're playing it and it doesn't sound like what I'm doing, it's not right then. So that means you might be playing the tie, because some people do that. Again, thumb on the 6th string, A finger on the 1st string, middle 2nd, index 3rd string, A finger on the 1st string, M 2nd string, I 3rd string, A on the 1st string. So it's so you might want to stop now if you know what you have to do with the pattern. Just play it over and over. Make sure you're doing the right fingers. Don't worry if you're using the wrong finger sometimes, because that just happens. You'll get better. But go very slow, like that speed. Don't be in a rush, because you will find it tricky. So now, if you have that, you can start pushing down some frets. So the middle finger in this piece is always playing 3rd string, all the time. But there's only 2 beats in this piece where you take this finger off this string. So it should be on this string pretty much all the time. And that'll help you decide what fingers to use for all the other chords. So the first chord, you're going to put your middle finger on the 4th fret of the 3rd string. Remembering the strings go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And the frets go across them, so the frets of the metal, play next to the metal, next to the fret. Don't play in them over here, you get a buzz. Don't play on top of the fret, it won't sound good. Next to it, don't touch it though. So middle finger on the 4th fret 3rd string, 3rd finger on the 4th fret 2nd string. And then you do this pattern we just went through, and using this bass note. Okay? And then you just slide it down to make it, instead of 4 and 4, it goes to 2 and 2. And the thumb's going to play the 5th string now. So your right hand pattern's the same, except the thumb changes. And then you repeat that up to 4 again, down to 2. Okay, so that's the first line. It goes from 4 to 2, 4 to 2. There's a demo video of this I'll put in the description, so I don't need to play the whole thing as one, because that would take too long. So you can watch that if you want to just see how it goes. So you've just went from 4 to 2, from 4 to 2, and then you're going to do this. So you've had 2 and 2 on with the middle and 3rd. You're going to take the 3rd finger away and put your index up here on the 2nd fret of the 5th string, and then do the pattern that you always do. But the thumb's going to play this string because you're pushing that note. There'd be no point in pushing it if you're not going to play it. So just a reminder, P, A, M, I, A, M, I, A. And then you take this off move the middle finger along to the 4th fret of the 3rd string, put the 3rd finger on the 4th fret of the 1st string, and do the pattern again with the thumb playing the 5th string again. But at this point you lift this finger off to make it a 0 with your usual pattern. So I'll do that again. Index off, middle up to 4, 3rd finger on, 3rd finger off to make it open. Okay, so that happens 2 times, so it will sound like this. Okay, and then you're up to this point. So you take the middle finger up to 8, and you put your index finger on 7, and then you do the pattern, normal pattern again. Thumb's going to play the 6th string. But the last note's open, so you must lift this off. So it's like this. Okay, you don't need to lift your finger out like that. I'm just doing it so you can really see I'm lifting it off. If you're playing properly, you just move it off a tiny bit. So you don't need to be doing anything like that. Then the next shape is the middle finger is going to come down to the 6th fret, index is going on the 5th fret. So it's the same shape you were doing here, you've just moved it down. Thumb is now playing the 5th string, and it's open at the end, okay? And just again, that's P, A, M, I, A, M, I, A. And that's open at the end. And I'll play that whole line for you. Okay, and then the middle finger stays on, but it moves to the 4th fret. Index finger goes on the 4th fret of the 5th string, and the thumb's playing this 5th string here, and you do your usual pattern. Then take your index off, put your 3rd finger on here, 4th fret of the 1st string, usual pattern, and it's the same as before, it goes open in the middle. Lift off, open, okay, then it goes back up to 4 up here with the index. And then index off, 3rd finger on the 4th fret of the 1st string. Then you add the pinky onto 5, and then you do open. Not in that rhythm, I'm just stopping it to show you each bit. I'll show you it as a whole now. So. Okay, and that's the first section. So if you need the time, you can repeat that. If not, then you can get into the next section. So the next section is chords. On the sheet currently it's got FF, which means fortissimo, but I've just kind of thought over the years it doesn't sound that nice to just be blasting that out, so changed it to pianissimo, which means it'll be very quiet. So the chords are the middle finger again on the 4th fret, but at that point you would have just finished playing there anyway, so you don't actually move. You just add this index finger to the 4th fret of the 5th string. And now the thumb, index, middle, and ring fingers are all going to play together. Okay, so what you can do with these 3 fingers is put them together as if they're one finger. So you want them to be, the ends of each finger be meeting. You don't want to be like this or anything, because you might play them at separate time, you want to play them simultaneously. So these are together. The thumb, put it out to the left, because if you try and play the thumb and the fingers together when they're in line, they just hit off each other, it's annoying. You can't get the fingers through enough. So stick the thumb out to the left. That's a good thing to do all the time. Not tense, just move it along, get it out the way. So you can see it's like that. So my fingers are going this way, my thumb's going that way, so they can play no bother. If I put them together, they just bash. So thumbs on the 5th string, place these fingers on, index on the 3rd, middle on the 2nd, ring on the 1st, and then just play together. So the thumb's going that way, down, the fingers are going in. Just over the string gently, you don't need to pull the strings or anything. Try not to lift your hand, because every time you lift it, you need to like sort it out again, put it back on. So just play, oops, and then after playing that chord for 2 beats, so it's like 1, 2, you add on this finger here, which is the 3rd finger going on to the 4th fret of the 1st string, and you play that note on its own with the A finger, keeping this sounding out. So I'll do that bar, so it goes 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, like that. So you can hear that chord underneath, it's nice. Then you take the middle finger along to 6 of the 3rd string, index on 5 of the 1st string, and you do the same thing again, the thumb and the 3 fingers together, and then you go open this time, so take this off, okay? So that's this chord together, 6th fret with the middle finger on the 3rd string, 5th fret with the index finger on the 1st string, these 3 fingers playing these top 3 strings together, the thumb's playing the 5th string, lift this off, index off to make it open after, okay? So if you got the sheet you can see that, that's good. If you don't have the sheet, just watch this a few times till you get in your head what's going on. I'll play what I've shown you so far. So we've got 4 and 4, plus 4 in the 1st string, up to 6 and 5, going to open on the 1st string. Then it goes back to the 4 and 4 one, add on the 4, okay? And then you take the index off, slide 2 and 3 up to 9, and just play as you were before, the 3 fingers together, thumb on the 5th string, okay? And then the next bit involves a harmonic, but you don't need to do harmonic on 7 if you don't want to. Over the years I actually taught loads of people to play harmonic on 7, and then harmonic on 12 and 12. But last week I saw a video of someone playing it, and they'd played this 7 as a normal note, and I thought that sounds a lot nicer, and I think that could actually be what's supposed to happen. But if you've been learning it with the harmonic on 7 and you've practiced that, just do it, because that's a shame, because it's actually quite tricky to get that one if you're not used to it. And then, but if you're new to it, just do this as a normal note. So you're going to play 7, and then you're going to do the harmonics on 12. So you've just played 0, 9, 0, 9 here as a chord. Now you're going to play 7 as a note, or as a harmonic if you've been doing that recently. But if not, just ignore what I'm saying about that completely. So play 7 on its own, and then you're going to do these things called harmonics. Okay, so harmonics are where you rest your finger on the string at a certain fret and it produces a sort of bell-like sound. So 12 is quite easy to get out. You can play them at 7, you can play them at 5, 4, 3. It gets trickier the lower you go. But 12 and 12 is the easiest. So what you do is you take this finger, your 3rd finger, and straighten it out, and just rest it like you're doing a bar chord over the 2 strings here. But don't touch them at all, right over the metal. So the metal should be going through the middle of your finger. But again, you don't push the string shouldn't move, you should just rest on it. Take 2 fingers of this hand, index and middle, to play these 2 strings, or your thumb and index. It's probably easier just to use your index and middle, and then play with this hand, and as soon as you hear the sound, then lift away. So like this. And you'll get the timing of that with practice. But you need to be careful not to go like this, because loads of people do that. You need to wait on the sound before you release. And the reason I'm saying move your finger out of the way is because if you leave it on, it just dies and it sounds muffled, you see? So you need to get that timing of it. You've produced the harmonic, you move out the road. If you want, you can use the end of your finger on the 7th fret, and the 5th fret, just to mess around with harmonics. Do it on each string, like that. On 7, on 5. It's a nice sound. Right, so if you've got the harmonics, then you can do the ending. So the ending is just like the start. Middle on 4, 3rd string, 3rd finger on 4 of the 2nd string, normal pattern. Move down to 2 and 2 again, up to 4 and 4. At this point you put the pinky on here and do 2, and then slide all this up to 4, 4 and 4. Play this 4th fret the 1st string with the ring finger. Play the 6th string with your thumb, then index middle, and let it ring. So I'll play all of that. Right, so I had to just stop there because the room was getting used, but that was everything of that piece. You can see on the piece there is also dynamics throughout, so the first line MP, M means medium, mezzo, P means piano, quiet, F means forte, loud. So it goes MP for the first line, so play the first line, medium quiet, then the next line you play medium quiet, getting gradually louder, the second bar coming back down. And then the next 2 bars of the second line you play a crescendo, so you get louder through both, and then when you're up at 7 and 8 you play loud, and then when you go down to 4 and 4 again, for the last bit of section 1 you play MP, medium quiet, and then for the last 2 bars of that line just crescendo a wee bit. And then you might go back to the start if you're doing the repeat, if not you go into the chord bit, which is to be very quiet. So it says, like I said before on the sheet, it says FF, super loud, do the opposite, PP, very quiet, it's nicer. And then just finishing at MP, medium quiet, and then towards the end you would have noticed I started to slow down. It says RIT, I think, which just means gradually slow down. Sometimes it'll say RAL, so RIT or RAL mean gradually get slow at the end, and that's it. So there'll be a link in the description to me playing the whole piece in one go, and yeah, I hope this helps out. See you later.